If you think Etsy cares about you and your shop, you are greatly mistaken. And in this video, we're going to talk about what you must do to protect yourself and your career. What's up, everybody? My name is Dave. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing. I do new videos all the time on Etsy, e-commerce, and personal success. Now in this video, we're going to address the rumor, the myth, or the statements that are out there that Etsy does not care about you and your shop. And we're going to talk about what you must do to protect yourself and your career. So let's jump right into it. First off, yes, Etsy does not care about you or your shop. Currently, there are 7.3 million Etsy sellers. So that is a whole lot of sellers. If 1 million of us dropped off right now, if 2 million of us dropped off right now, or even if 3 million of us dropped off and or shut our Etsy ads off in protest of the new Etsy ads or the free shipping or any new change that they make that ruffles our feathers, they don't care. And it's a sobering thought, but they really don't care. Like, a lot of us get really angry thinking about the fact that they might not care, still clinging on to the idea that they do, but you have to accept that they don't care about us. They don't care about each individual seller. They care about the end of the day numbers, they care about the overall performance, and they don't care if your grandma selling knitted blankets can't pay her bills anymore, because that's your grandma's problem. And it's not really their problem either. So right now, around only like 10 to 5%, don't quote me here, but it's a small percentage of Etsy sellers are actually making bank and actually paying the bills or making a full-time income. What do I mean by full-time income? I mean about $35,000 to $4,000 for a lot of people. That an income like that would allow them to quit a mediocre job or something that puts some food on the table, right? So a very small percentage of Etsy sellers are currently actually making a full-time income. And there's a few parties to blame. Sure, we could blame Etsy, but it really actually comes down to those sellers that aren't making bank, because there's a whole lot of things that you need to do with your Etsy shop that nobody knows what to do. So sure, there's a lack of guidance in the Etsy community. Etsy doesn't tell you how to be successful. The handbook tells you like what to do, but it doesn't tell you any strategies or anything like that. It's all kind of to figure out on your own, or if you watch videos like mine or other YouTubers that help you with Etsy. So only 5 to 10% of Etsy, that's my number, I just made that up, don't quote me. Only like 5 to 10% of Etsy sellers are actually making a full-time income. And then there's a really small number of shops like mine that are in the top 1%. And you can look this up on eRank, and eRank has those statistics. You can go spy on your competitors and all that type of stuff. So it's really like this. There's a whole huge chunk of Etsy sellers that aren't doing it correctly. And sure, it's Etsy's fault for not giving us guidance, but it's also the Etsy sellers' fault for not like getting serious about their shop. But back to the main point here is that Etsy does not care about these sellers. They honestly really don't care about the top sellers either. And sure, they do care about the top sellers, but at the same time they don't. Like, look at it like this. Etsy, all these big changes that Etsy is making right now, they're moving towards an Amazon or eBay type website. They want to be a big player in the marketplace game. So do you honestly ask yourself right now, do you honestly think Amazon cares about each individual seller and what they think when they make a big change? Absolutely not. Do you think eBay cares about each individual seller after each change they make? Absolutely not. I'm actually surprised that with the Etsy ad change, they put that little survey on there for us to just give them tell them our bad thoughts right off the bat. Like, I'm honestly surprised that they're even willing to listen, because I firmly believe they're never going to change it back. Even if we all boycott the Etsy ad system, there's still going to be people on it, and Etsy's still going to make bank. They really, really do not care. So the whole point of this video is to tell you to accept that they don't care, but at the same time protect yourself with your career. So Etsy used to be like a big platform. Well, it is still a big platform, I take it back. Etsy used to be a platform that you could make a full-time income and just sit there and be cool, right? And be fine, just be rolling steady and be okay. But there's a lot of changes now with Etsy, and big shops like mine, anybody can really take a dive. I've taken multiple dives where like 50% of my average revenue just gone. And then I have to figure out how to bring it back and come out of those slumps. And I've come out of multiple slumps from multiple changes in the past. And that's why I am going to remain resilient and stay on the top, because I know how to overcome changes and I know how to stay on top. So with that being said, Etsy is no longer a platform that, like, Etsy's tagline is build your best business with Etsy, but it's really not that way at all. Like, you could stay on Etsy and sure, you could really make it your full-time income if you invest a lot of time in it, but at the end of the day, it's not your website and they can do whatever you want. They could shut down your stuff too if they decide in the future that, hey, I don't like half-ass assembled jewelry that you bought from AliExpress, then put a few things together. Guess what? We're going to crack down on that. And then boom, you're done, right? So long story short here is that Etsy does not care, and that you need to protect yourself and your career by creating a separate website, whether it be a Shopify, a WooCommerce, or whatever it may be, because that way you control it. You can collect emails, which is actually against Etsy's terms of service. If you went and scraped all the emails from all your orders, that's against Etsy's terms of service. I can't tell you to do that on camera, but lots of people do that to create lookalike audiences, etc., and all that type of stuff. But it's against Etsy's terms of service, and I'm not going to tell you to do that on camera. So you need to create a separate website, and you need to up your game on social media. Once you have a large following with your social media, that's when you can move to a new website. Because if you create a new website right now from scratch and you don't have a large Instagram or Pinterest following, forget Facebook, forget Twitter, forget like all those like totally tapped out algorithms where you don't get any freaking exposure. Instagram's going to be that way soon too. So I would go Pinterest and Instagram for now. But until you have the large following that you can send like a good chunk of traffic to, keep your Etsy shop, and once you have a large following on social media, that's your traffic. Why would you send that to a marketplace where Etsy cross-sells the crap out of everybody? They don't let you collect emails, and they take your money way more than Shopify or some other platform. Why would you send your hard-earned traffic to that website? And the first answer is, if you don't have your own platform, that traffic helps you boost your rank in Etsy because you're getting more sales from outside of Etsy, therefore boosting your rank in Etsy. That is how I got my shop big, sending tons of traffic from outside of it. But then, once my Etsy shop was rolling and self-sustaining, you create your own separate website, like a Shopify, and then you send that traffic there, because there's tons of e-commerce must-dos that you're missing out on with Etsy. Sure, they let you send the abandoned cart emails. Sure, they let you do the favoriting type stuff, but they still control all of that too. And by now, all of Etsy's like abandoned cart emails and like recently favored type emails that they're sending out, I guarantee Gmail, Hotmail, all those main ones, they already filter them into promotions, or worse, spam, because there's tons of people using that function. Sure, Etsy's IP address and servers and stuff are like whitelisted for these email services, okay, but it's still ending up in the spam for a lot of people, and it's just still not as effective as if you had your own platform and you were sending your own emails. So with your own website, you protect your career, really, and you protect yourself against these giant changes. Because if my Etsy shop dies right now, I have two Shopifys, I have two brands, and so it's really like that. You need to protect your career. You need to protect yourself, because Etsy does not care about you, and it's as simple as that. And it's really not a bad thing that Etsy doesn't care about you. It's not a bad thing. It's just something that you need to realize. and act upon, because a lot of us, we cripple ourselves with this thought that Etsy cares about us, and they'll always rockabye baby you, right? Oh, Etsy loves me. No, 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 no. They don't care about you. And if you say the wrong stuff to them in the email support, they're not even going to answer your questions. Have you ever sent an angry email to Etsy support? They just close it. And for good reason. They probably deal with a lot of crap. But that's another thing about Etsy, is like the Etsy support. The Etsy support needs way more training. There's a few specialists out there that can kind of answer your questions, but for the most part, Etsy support is absolutely useless. And I'll stick to that story until Etsy has better support. And that's another thing. Etsy does not care about you, so why should you rely on Etsy support for answers and stuff? That's why you watch my videos. That's why you watch other people's videos, because Etsy support, they don't know anything. I'm an Etsy seller. All the Etsy support members, they are not Etsy sellers. They're just regurgitating crap from the seller handbook or whatever. They send you links to the seller handbook and stuff like that. And it's sad. It's really, really sad. I've drilled them with some pretty hardcore questions before, and they short circuit. They don't know how to answer in-depth questions on scaling your business, on anything like that. They just don't know. And even the quote-unquote specialists, when they transfer you to I'm a promoted listing specialist. No, 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 no. No, you're not. No, you're not. So long story short is Etsy don't care, eBay don't care, Amazon don't care, but at the same time, you can be on the platform and you can be successful. So the long story made short, made long again. I said the long story, I know. But they don't care about you, but you care about you. That's the biggest thing. You care about you. So go start a separate website if you have social media traffic to send to it, and start fortifying your career. You could even go real hardcore and build a WordPress or whatever you want to do, whatever content management system you want to use. That's fine. Shopify's built for e-commerce, so you don't have to do a bunch of jumping jacks and weird twisty turnies to get the WordPress going for you. So Shopify, WooCommerce, Big Cartel, stuff like that, perfect. And sure, in the future they may raise rates on you, and that's another thing to consider. But that's everything, guys. Etsy does not care about you, and you need to protect yourself. Okay. So if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and watch my next video. Have a beautiful day.